our good friend Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, I mean...
Our good friend Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, that Chris Hemsworth, the 6'3" Australian actor whose transformation into Thor turned him into one of Hollywood's most recognizable male stars almost overnight. Ever since his first appearance in the Marvel Universe, audiences around the world have been obsessed with the combination of his towering physique, effortless charm, deep voice, and surprisingly goofy personality. And honestly, it's not difficult to understand why. The man looks like he walked directly out of a mythology book and somehow ended up on a red carpet. From nervous lip-biting to uncontrollable laughter, from stolen glances to eyes that linger just a second too long, even the most glamorous women in entertainment aren't immune to one very human instinct: attraction. No matter how polished, composed, or media-trained someone may be, sometimes charisma hits so hard that professionalism quietly slips out the window. Cameras may be rolling, millions of people may be watching, and publicists may be standing only a few feet away. But attraction has a way of exposing people instantly. And honestly, there's something endlessly entertaining about watching celebrities completely lose their composure around ridiculously attractive men. One interviewer once looked directly at Chris Hemsworth during a press event and admitted with a nervous laugh, "I have to say, I've never touched a man with abs like yours before." The room exploded immediately. Chris laughed awkwardly, clearly embarrassed but amused before replying, "That's really sweet." What made the moment so funny wasn't just the comment itself, it was how genuine it felt. You could actually see the interviewer trying to remain professional, while simultaneously realizing she had just said that out loud on camera. And to be fair, Chris Hemsworth's transformation for Thor became legendary in Hollywood. Trainers who worked with him revealed that his intense workout routines often involved multiple hours of strength training, combined with strict dieting designed to build superhero-level muscle mass. During preparation for several Marvel films, reports claimed he consumed thousands of calories a day just to maintain the massive physique required for the role. Fitness magazines, social media pages, and entertainment outlets spent years obsessing over his training methods, and fans constantly searched online for Chris Hemsworth workout routines hoping to replicate even a fraction of the look. But attraction in Hollywood doesn't stop with Chris Hemsworth. Even Margot Robbie, one of the biggest actresses in modern cinema, found herself visibly mesmerized during an interview with Michael B. Jordan. Michael, known for films like Creed and Black Panther, has built a reputation not only for his acting ability, but also for being effortlessly charismatic in interviews. During this particular conversation, he casually talked about playing a childhood bully in one of his acting roles, calmly explaining the story while Margot sat beside him looking completely enchanted. Her smile lingered a little too long. Her eyes stayed locked on him almost the entire time, and there was that unmistakable dreamy expression people get when someone standing next to them is simply too attractive in person. Michael continued speaking normally, completely focused on answering the question, while Margot looked like she had mentally drifted into another universe several minutes earlier. And the internet noticed immediately. Clips of the interaction spread across social media platforms almost instantly, with fans replaying the moment frame by frame and joking that Margot Robbie looked like she forgot she was in an interview. Thousands of comments flooded online discussions, pointing out her body language, facial expressions, and inability to hide how impressed she seemed by Michael's presence. Some viewers even joked that Michael B. Jordan has a superpower when it comes to making people visibly nervous around him. What makes moments like these so entertaining is how human they feel. These are celebrities, people constantly photographed, interviewed, and surrounded by attractive co-stars every day. Yet even they occasionally react like ordinary people with celebrity crushes. And somehow, those unscripted little moments always become the ones audiences remember most. Then came the question that instantly changed the energy of the entire interview. Who's your cinematic crush? The second the interviewer asked it, Margot Robbie visibly froze. For a brief moment, she looked caught between honesty and panic before bursting into nervous laughter. "This is awkward," she admitted while trying to hide her smile, "because he's sitting right here." The audience erupted immediately, sensing exactly where the conversation was headed before she even said another word. Sitting beside her was Alexander Skarsgård, the 6'4" Swedish actor whose combination of sharp features, deep voice, and calm confidence had already made him one of Hollywood's most admired leading men. By the time this interview happened, Alexander had gained worldwide attention through projects like True Blood and The Legend of Tarzan, where his physical transformation became one of the most talked-about aspects of the film's marketing campaign. Reports from entertainment outlets revealed that he spent months on strict training routines, intense dieting, and physically demanding stunt preparation to achieve Tarzan's athletic build. Fitness websites, magazines, and social media pages spent weeks discussing his workout transformation after trailers for the movie were released. And honestly, standing next to him during interviews clearly didn't make things easier for Margot Robbie. Throughout the Tarzan press tour, fans constantly pointed out the chemistry between Margot and Alexander. Body language videos analyzing their interviews collected millions of views online, with viewers joking that Margot looked visibly nervous whenever Alexander smiled at her. During this particular moment, her reaction felt so genuine that the audience instantly connected with it. She laughed, looked away awkwardly, and tried to recover while Alexander sat there looking completely calm, which somehow made the situation even funnier. What made the moment memorable wasn't just attraction. It was the fact that Margot Robbie, one of the most famous actresses in the world and someone constantly surrounded by celebrities, suddenly reacted exactly like an ordinary person with a crush. That authenticity is what made clips from the interview spread so quickly online. Fans replayed the moment repeatedly, commenting on how impossible it was for her to hide how flustered she became. Then came one of the most painfully obvious celebrity crush interviews ever recorded, featuring Schilling and Zac Efron. By this stage of his career, Zac Efron had already evolved from Disney Channel teen idol into one of Hollywood's most recognizable male stars. After the massive global success of High School Musical, Zac became a pop culture phenomenon almost overnight. But what truly transformed his image was his physical evolution in later films like Baywatch, where his intense fitness transformation became a viral topic across the internet. Reports claimed Zac followed brutal training programs involving extremely low body fat percentages, multiple daily workouts, and highly controlled diets to prepare for certain movie roles. Fitness experts, trainers, and health magazines constantly discussed the dedication behind his appearance, while fans online regularly joked that Zac Efron looked too unreal to be an actual human being. And during this interview, Schilling looked like she completely understood the hype. From the moment the conversation started, her attention kept drifting toward him. Zac answered questions calmly and professionally, discussing the movie with focus and confidence, but Taylor looked visibly distracted by his presence. Every few seconds, her eyes moved back toward him. She smiled constantly, laughed at nearly everything he said, and struggled to maintain concentration on the actual interview itself. Viewers online noticed instantly. Clips from the interview quickly circulated across YouTube, TikTok, and social media platforms, with millions of viewers pointing out Taylor's reactions frame by frame. Comment sections filled with jokes saying she looked like every person trying to act normal around their celebrity crush. Even body language experts on entertainment channels analyzed the interview, highlighting her repeated eye contact, nervous laughter, and physical orientation toward Zac throughout the conversation. At one point, Zac sincerely encouraged audiences to support the movie and appreciate the work everyone put into the project. Before he could even finish speaking, Taylor jumped in enthusiastically with, "I second that. Absolutely." The audience burst into laughter because by then it had become obvious she wasn't simply promoting the film anymore. She was unintentionally campaigning for Zac Efron himself. And honestly, celebrity interviews around Zac Efron have developed a pattern over the years. Numerous interviewers, co-stars, and television hosts have openly admitted becoming nervous around him, especially after his transformation into one of Hollywood's most talked-about leading men. His appearances consistently generate millions of views online, and clips of awkward celebrity reactions around him regularly go viral because audiences find those moments weirdly relatable. Then there was Kate Upton openly short-circuiting during a live interview so aggressively that the audience immediately realized they were witnessing television gold. "Are you single?" she asked directly. "I am single," he replied calmly. "You're handsome," she continued without hesitation. The crowd reacted instantly because everyone could already see where the conversation was heading. Kate, known for her confident personality and playful humor during interviews, kept openly complimenting his appearance without even pretending to hide it. "Do you work out a lot? You look like you pump iron." When he jokingly answered, "No, I just wear really small clothes," the audience exploded with laughter. But somehow, the interview escalated even further. "Can you take your shirt off?" Kate suddenly asked. "Which one?" he replied with perfect timing. "All of them." At that point, the audience completely lost control. What made the moment so memorable was how naturally the flirtation escalated in front of a live crowd. Every button he opened triggered louder screams from the audience, turning the interview into pure chaos. At one point, Kate jokingly threatened, "If you don't open more buttons, we're not continuing this interview." The clip spread rapidly online afterward, generating millions of views and becoming one of those unforgettable celebrity interview moments people continue referencing years later. Audiences love unscripted interactions like this because they feel spontaneous, unpredictable, and genuinely human, especially in an industry where most public appearances are usually polished and carefully controlled. Even Gal Gadot, literal Wonder Woman herself, proved that absolutely nobody is immune to attraction. By the time this interview happened, Gal Gadot had already become a global superstar through her portrayal of Wonder Woman in the DC Extended Universe. Her performance was praised worldwide, helping Wonder Woman become one of the highest-grossing superhero films featuring a female lead at the time. Meanwhile, sitting beside her was Chris Pine, whose classic movie star appearance and effortless charisma had already earned him a reputation as one of Hollywood's smoothest leading men. During the interview, Gal confidently began discussing superhero films and the emotional themes behind the genre. Then suddenly, in the middle of her sentence, she stopped, completely blanked. She turned toward Chris Pine and stared at him for a moment as if her brain had briefly disconnected from reality. The audience noticed immediately. The awkward pause lasted just long enough for everyone in the room to understand exactly what had happened. Chris Pine simply smiled, while Gal tried to recover and continue her sentence, laughing nervously as the crowd reacted around them. And naturally, the clip exploded online afterward. Fans replayed the moment repeatedly across social media platforms, with millions of views accumulating as viewers joked that even Wonder Woman herself couldn't stay focused around Chris Pine. Entertainment pages analyzed the interaction, highlighting the chemistry between the two actors both on-screen and off-screen throughout the Wonder Woman press tour. Because sometimes attraction isn't subtle. Sometimes your entire nervous system crashes publicly in front of cameras, interviewers, live audiences, and millions of viewers on the internet forever. Australia, somehow, has produced an almost unfair number of dangerously attractive male celebrities. From Chris Hemsworth to actors like Hugh Jackman, Liam Hemsworth, and Jacob Elordi, the country has built an oddly consistent reputation for exporting tall, charismatic leading men who regularly dominate Hollywood casting lists. But even among that lineup, Chris Hemsworth occupies a completely different category. Standing around 6'3" with the physique of a professional athlete and the face of a luxury fashion model, Hemsworth became one of the most recognizable actors on the planet after taking on the role of Thor in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the numbers behind his rise are massive. The Marvel films he appeared in collectively generated billions of dollars worldwide, turning him into a global superstar almost overnight. Fitness magazines dedicated entire cover stories to his training routines, while videos breaking down his workouts accumulated millions of views online. Personal trainers who worked with him described brutal schedules involving heavy weightlifting, boxing, cardio circuits, strict dieting, and consuming thousands of calories per day during filming periods just to maintain Thor's famously enormous physique. At one point, Chris Hemsworth's workout became one of the most searched celebrity fitness phrases on the internet. Naturally, interviewers began struggling to stay professional around him. One interviewer attempted to calmly ask Chris how it felt constantly being labeled a heartthrob, but halfway through the question, she completely abandoned professionalism and admitted, "You have this thing where you look directly into someone's soul." Chris immediately laughed while she nervously added, "You're making me nervous now." What made the moment so funny was how visibly genuine her reaction was. She started the interview sounding composed and prepared, but within seconds, she looked completely thrown off by his eye contact and relaxed confidence. And honestly, this became a recurring pattern during Chris Hemsworth interviews. Across press tour, talk shows, and red carpet appearances, hosts frequently lost focus, forgot questions, or openly admitted feeling intimidated by how attractive he looked in person. Another interviewer stared at him in disbelief and blurted out, "What are they feeding you Australians? Seriously, the height, the face, it's ridiculous." The audience erupted because everyone watching was clearly thinking the exact same thing. And statistically speaking, Chris Hemsworth's popularity became almost absurd during the peak of Marvel's dominance. He repeatedly appeared on lists ranking the sexiest men alive, most handsome actors, and most desirable celebrities worldwide. Social media clips of his interviews regularly generated millions of views, not because of controversy or drama, but simply because audiences enjoyed watching people visibly malfunction around him. Then came one of the most chaotic interviews of all. During a comedic segment, a female host jokingly announced that she was about to show Chris her underwear. The audience screamed instantly, while Chris nearly collapsed laughing in his chair. The entire atmosphere shifted from normal interview energy into complete unpredictability. "I've seen bras being taken off before," Chris joked through laughter, "but that was impressive." At that point, neither of them could hold composure anymore. The host struggled to continue speaking because she was laughing too hard. Chris buried his face in embarrassment, and the audience completely lost control in the background. Clips from the interview spread rapidly online afterward because viewers love unscripted celebrity moments where everyone involved suddenly forgets how to behave normally. And honestly, those moments tend to outperform carefully planned interviews every single time. Meanwhile, Margot Robbie once again found herself completely overwhelmed while discussing Alexander Skarsgård during the Legend of Tarzan press tour. By the time the film released, Alexander Skarsgård's physical transformation had already become one of the movie's biggest talking points. To prepare for the role of Tarzan, Alexander reportedly underwent months of intense physical conditioning, strict dieting, stunt rehearsals, and muscle-building workouts designed to create the lean but powerful appearance associated with the iconic jungle character. Trainers connected to the production described demanding routines involving resistance training, mobility work, and carefully monitored nutrition plans. Entertainment websites and fitness publications repeatedly covered his transformation, while fans online constantly discussed how dramatically different he looked compared to previous roles. And apparently, Margot Robbie's first reaction mirrored the internet's reaction perfectly. When interviewers asked what went through her mind the first time she saw Alexander shirtless as Tarzan, she answered instantly. "Nothing, my mind went blank. My jaw hit the floor." The honesty of the answer made the audience explode with laughter because it didn't sound rehearsed at all. It sounded like someone genuinely trying to process what they had just witnessed. And honestly, viewers completely understood. Alexander Skarsgård already possessed the kind of classic Scandinavian features that made him stand out naturally: sharp jawline, intense eyes, towering height, and calm confidence. But combined with the Tarzan physique, he became one of the most talked-about male actors during that press tour. Fans online replayed Margot's reaction repeatedly, joking that she represented the entire audience perfectly. Things became even funnier when Alexander jokingly claimed that the only serious injury on set happened during a romantic scene with Margot Robbie. The audience immediately reacted, while Margot burst into nervous laughter. "What happens on set stays on set," she quickly replied, visibly blushing. At that point, both actors were struggling to maintain composure, while interviewers and audiences completely lost control around them. Clips from the interaction spread rapidly online because viewers loved the chemistry between the two stars. Body language analysts, entertainment pages, and fan accounts spent weeks discussing their interviews, pointing out how naturally playful and comfortable they seemed together throughout the press tour. And honestly, that's part of what makes celebrity interviews like these so memorable. People don't just enjoy perfectly polished answers. They enjoy the accidental moments, the awkward pauses, nervous laughter, uncontrollable reactions, and split-second expressions that reveal somebody suddenly forgot there were cameras in the room. During another red carpet interview, a reporter jokingly asked an actor whether receiving an award meant they were now best friends. "We're more than best friends," he teased before adding, "I'm her date tonight." The reporter instantly melted, complimenting his eyes and cheekbones while trying unsuccessfully to remain professional. But perhaps nothing compares to Kristen completely malfunctioning beside Jason Momoa. Jason smiled and admitted he had no idea she was such a huge fan. Kristen immediately lost all ability to act normal. "I'm sorry," she laughed nervously. "I'm trapped in his web right now." The audience roared while she admitted there was simply a lot of energy coming from his direction. Sitting beside Jason Momoa apparently short-circuits the human nervous system, and Kristen became living proof. Henry Cavill has a long history of unintentionally making people forget how to function properly, and Vanessa Kirby proved she was no exception. She confidently claimed she wasn't easily impressed before describing a stunt Henry performed involving a helicopter. "That's when I realized this is ridiculous," she admitted. "I'm officially impressed." Then, without hesitation, she added, "And his chest is incredibly manly and hot." The room erupted, while Henry sat there looking both flattered and embarrassed. Then came discussions involving Timothée Chalamet. One celebrity openly admitted, "He's so talented and so hot," before joking about waiting for him to get older. The entire cast burst into laughter while Timothée looked simultaneously horrified and deeply flattered. Another interviewer received a kiss from an actor mid-interview and immediately started blushing uncontrollably. "My day is complete," she admitted afterward. Elsewhere, simply mentioning Channing Tatum in Magic Mike was enough to make audiences scream in agreement. Some performances permanently alter brain chemistry. Then came the legendary conversation about Chris Evans. An actress tried her best to professionally describe what it was like seeing him in person, but eventually gave up and confessed, "It was the first time I'd seen him that close, so I just gently touched his chest." The audience exploded with laughter. At least she was honest. And the funniest part is that absolutely nobody is immune to attraction. Not celebrities, not interviewers, not even people in their 90s. When Betty White saw a muscular celebrity flexing his arms, her reaction was immediate. "Look at those arms," she exclaimed while grinning like a teenager with a crush. The audience howled with laughter. Some instincts simply never disappear. Then came one of the internet's favorite moments involving Keanu Reeves. A guest walked onto a talk show set and asked with complete seriousness, "Is this the exact chair Keanu Reeves sat in?" The host confirmed it was. Instantly, she lost composure. "Oh my God," she whispered while the audience erupted around her. Apparently, simply existing near something Keanu Reeves once touched was emotionally overwhelming enough. And finally, one of the wildest moments of all involved Cindy Crawford interviewing a 19-year-old Kobe Bryant. When she asked what the name Kobe meant, he innocently replied, "It means tender meat." Cindy froze before mischievously asking, "Tender young meat?" The audience completely collapsed while Kobe, still innocent to the joke, continued speaking normally. Producers immediately panicked as everyone struggled to recover from the accidental chaos unfolding live on television. Because sometimes chemistry, attraction, awkwardness, and comedy collide so perfectly that no scriptwriter in the world could recreate it better. And honestly, that's exactly why moments like these become unforgettable.